Namaste to all. Four interesting questions. Question number one is, what does Vedas say about 84 lakh yonis or 84 lakh species? Question number two is, we feel that even God cannot control the nature if the nature gets angry. So, which is more powerful, Almighty God or nature? Question number three is, you say that you have not studied Sanskrit, then how are you able to understand Vedas without understanding Sanskrit? Question number four is, you say that Sri Krishna is not Almighty God, Sri Krishna is a yogi, and you say that your Acharya is a yogi. How do you compare both of them? Interesting questions. I will try to answer in this video shortly. The first question is, 84 lakh species are yonis. Vedas does not speak about 84 lakh. This number is mentioned in some books like Tulasi Ramayana or Bhagavatam or other books which are against Vedas. This is not mentioned in the Vedas. Even my Acharya has told that 84 lakh yonis is not there in the Vedas. Vedas speaks about Asankyada. Rigveda 10th Mandal, I forgot the Sukta, maybe 114 Sukta. The mantra speaks about Asankhya Yoni. That means Asankhya means which cannot be counted by us, which cannot be understood by us. There are so many yonis. Yonis means different types of species. Like human being is one species. Similarly, dog or cat or lion, tiger, donkey, monkey, etc., etc. Like that, there are unlimited, uncountable, unimaginable number of species. See, God says in the Vedas, the life exists in all over the universe, not only in this earth. Life exists everywhere. Even in the moon, life exists. Even in the sun, life exists. Even in the neutron stars, galaxies, life exists. But you must not misunderstand that this life is a human life. Human life cannot exist other than earth. These are some other life. The body of, for example, if there is a life in the moon, life means Jivatma. Jivatma does not die does not take birth, does not die. So the life in the moon, a body, a species in the moon will have a suitable body for that climate, for that atmosphere, because like moon does not have a atmosphere, moon does not have oxygen. Moon has like 300 degrees in the daytime, in the night time it is minus degrees. So a body is created suitable for that climate by Almighty God, but of course it is not perceivable by human eyes. We cannot see the life in the moon by a telescope, or even if you go to the moon you cannot see by human eyes. They are not perceivable by our eyes, but life exists everywhere is what Almighty God says. So that's why my Acharya always says, do not waste your human life, because the moment you forget Almighty God, his worship in this life, you will never be able to get human life again. It will take trillions and billions of years again to come back to human life. So don't waste your human life, human body. It is invaluable. And my Acharya also has said in one pravachan that even if you have, or like if the Jivatma gets take a birth as a animal in the earth, it's good actually, because in the other planets the dukh is so high for the Jivatma, because of the different climate conditions, different types of scenario there. My Acharya has mentioned in one of the pravachan. So we must be very careful and utilize our life properly. The second question is, even God cannot control nature when nature gets angry. See, first of all, we must understand what is meant by nature getting angry. Kapil Muni says, Atha Trividhi Dukkha Atyanta Nivritti Atyanta Purusharatha. Three types of dukkha are there. One of the dukkha is Adi Daivik Dukh. Adi Daivik Dukh means the dukh created by the natural calamities. For example, cyclone or flood or earthquake or extreme high temperature, extreme heat, 45 degree, 50 degree temperature, or extreme cold, minus degrees temperature, we are unable to bear. These are Adi Daivik Dukh. Dukh created by Jad Devata. Daivik means Devatas, Jad Devatas, like sun, moon, etc., etc. So, Adi Daivik Dukh is due to the result of our own deeds. Kapil Muni says, when you do extreme tapasya, when you realize Almighty God, you will come out of all the dukhs, three dukkha, including the dukh caused by the natural calamities. That means you will not be in a place where natural calamity will happen, because you are a tapasvi. And because of your presence, maybe that locality, that people who are living in that area also is saved because of your tapasya. So this is very very important. So if nature gets angry, can God control, or is nature more powerful than God? There is no doubt in that. Of course Almighty God is all powerful, because nature means prakriti. See, what is prakriti? Prakriti is a non alive matter. Rajaguna, tamaguna, sataguna, this combination of non alive matter is called as prakriti. And prakriti means when these three matters, three gunas is not acting. That means this universe does not exist. When the universe does not exist, prakriti exists. When Almighty God's power acts on prakriti, the prakriti is converted into universe. So God can create the universe from the prakriti. So God is more suksham, more powerful than the prakriti. The more suksham an object is, a matter is, the more powerful it is. You can understand atom bomb, suksham. The technology is very minute. God is more minute than even prakriti. So God is more powerful than prakriti. God can control the nature. We cannot. We are human beings. For example, we are living in our body. We cannot control our body temperature. We cannot control the movement of fluids in the body. We cannot control our metabolism. We cannot control, even we cannot control our mind, like Kam, Krodh, Madlob, Ahankar. We cannot control our mind without tapasya. Leave the body. We cannot control anything. Everything is automatically going. If we are trying to control our heart rate, can you control? You cannot. Based on our food habits, our other habits, heart rate is automatically happening. We cannot control it. Why we cannot control it? We do not have that capability. But God has, the Almighty God is called as Shukram, Sapariyagat. He is omnipresent, he is almighty, he can control the prakriti. So when cyclone happens, please understand, this cyclone is due to the result of our own deeds. In the Upanishad times, like in Mahabharata also, cyclones, like one or two cyclones they have mentioned. Even when the cyclone came and attacked one city, Govardhan, Sri Krishna Maharaj saved everyone by taking the full village into the Govardhan mountains. So cyclone mentioned in Mahabharata one or two times only. In Ramayana, in Upanishad, there is no mention about cyclone. There is no mention about earthquake. There is no mention about natural disaster, because everybody followed and adopted tapasya. When we worship Almighty God will take care of us. Almighty God can control the nature very well. In fact, God says in Atharvaveda that when you do excessive sins, when you do another of Vedas, when you insult Vedas, when you insult Almighty God, when you insult a Rishi, when you insult Gaumata, I will create natural calamities by my power. God says in Atharvaveda. God gives punishment through the natural calamities, through cyclone or flood or other things. So God controls the nature. Nature cannot control Almighty God. Nature means Jad Tattva. Jad cannot control Chetan, Almighty God. Chetan power, the alive power of Almighty God, can control the Jad nature. Of course, we cannot control nature, but when we do tapasya, God will ensure that we are not impacted by natural calamities. This is very, very important. The third question is about the Sanskrit. Without, you do not, you say that you do not know Sanskrit, you have not studied Sanskrit. How are you able to understand Vedas? Recently, like 1 week back, my Acharya was telling in one pravachan, for you to understand Vedas, you don't need Sanskrit knowledge. What you need is Acharya. So when you have an Acharya, you don't need to study Sanskrit. Acharya will explain everything in your own language. For example, I know Hindi, my Acharya explains everything in Hindi. So Sanskrit is not needed to understand Vedas. What is needed is, number one, Acharya. Number two, your Shraddha on Acharya. Your belief in Acharya, your service to Acharya is needed. Sanskrit is secondary matter. And also, Adi Shankaracharya says beautifully, Nahi nahi rakshati dukriya karane. At the time of death, your Sanskrit knowledge will not save you. At the time of death, you are a MA, PhD, you are a Pandit, you are a Vidwan, you know Nirukta, you know Panini Astadhyaya, all these things. Dukriya Karane means all this Sanskrit knowledge will not save you. Bhaja Govindam, Almighty God and Acharya will save you at the time, will protect you from at the time of death. Protect you means securing that you get a better birth in the next birth. So Sanskrit knowledge is not essential to understand Vedas. Sanskrit knowledge is good. If you know Sanskrit is very good, you can try to understand much better also. But if you have an Acharya, no need for Sanskrit. Acharya knows everything. He just explained to you in your own language. Then you can, when you read the Ved mantra, you can try to understand, okay, this word means this one, this is vibhakti. Acharya will explain everything also. So Sanskrit knowledge is not essential to understand Vedas. Acharya is most essential to understand Vedas. And the last question, very difficult question, I don't want to answer, but still, couple of minutes I'll spend in this question. You say that Sri Krishna is not Almighty God. I don't say it. Mahabharata says it. Vedas say that God cannot take birth and death. God cannot take human form. God cannot take any avatar. So Sri Krishna's birth itself is a proof that Sri Krishna is not Almighty God. It's not that I am saying. It is a well-known, evident fact by the Vedic Dharma that Sri Krishna or any human being cannot be Almighty God. Number one. And number two, you say that Sri Krishna is a yogi and your Acharya is also a yogi. How do you compare? Why should we compare two yogis? Both of them have their own specialities. For example, let's say Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna studied Vedas from his Rishi, Sandipan Rishi. Sri Krishna used to do tapasya every day, early morning at 12 a.m. Midnight 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock he does tapasya. Then he does Agnihotra. Then he was ruling a country. He was a great ruler, and then how much knowledge he gave to Arjuna, etc., etc. So Sri Krishna is a great Yogeshwar. Similarly, when I have told about my Acharya's life, my Acharya used to do intense Ashtanga Yoga Tapasya. Even today also my Acharya, even at this age, 84 years, he is giving Vedic pravachans at this age also. My Acharya always say that all along my life, I used to sleep at 11:45, 12 o'clock in the night and wake up at 2 o'clock, 2:30. So 2.5 hours sleep. From 2:30 to maybe 10 o'clock, he does intense tapasya, Veda, Adhyayan, Yajna, all those things, and then goes to office. My Acharya lives in Kali Yuga, Sri Krishna lived in Dwapara Yuga. So you cannot compare both. The situations are different. My Acharya worked in like military, he served Indian Army. He was working for 25-30 years. He was taking care of the responsibilities, moral responsibilities, side by side doing tapasya. And during the work time only he got samadhi. When he was doing military engineering services work in 1979, he attained a samadhi at when he was doing tapasya at his residence. So similarly, Sri Krishna also did intense tapasya and he got samadhi. So we must there is no need for comparison. What we must understand is what Sri Krishna taught us and what is every Acharya is teaching us. Every Acharya has done intense tapasya. So why not we just adopt their tapasya in our life? Why not we just take inspiration from them instead of comparing who is great, who is not great? In fact, I will tell that Sri Krishna is known to us because of Vyas Muni. Vyas Muni is much greater than Sri Krishna, to be honest, because if Vyas Muni did not write about Sri Krishna, how we will know about Sri Krishna? Vyas Muni is so humble that he did not speak anything about him. He spoke very little about himself in Mahabharata. He wrote more about Sri Krishna, more about Yudhishthir, more about other people. This is the greatness of Vyas Muni. Vyas Muni wrote Brahma Sutra. Vyas Muni commented on Patanjali Maharishi. But Vyas Muni never, made a big talk about himself. So Vyas Muni is also a great Yogeshwar. But we should not compare how do you compare your Acharya and Sri Krishna is not needed. Because both have attained Asampragyat Samadhi. Both have last stage of Samadhi where they realized Almighty God. They have gone beyond birth and death. So why not we follow the footsteps of Acharya to do the same? Sri Krishna cannot give knowledge today to us. Sri Krishna is gone 5,000 years back. Today, who is alive? An Acharya who is a Samadhist yogi, if he is alive, we must go and serve and listen Vedas. So today's importance is Acharya because that Acharya is the only person who can tell who was Sri Krishna. Like, the Gita commented by my Acharya, if my Acharya had not written Gita, nobody would know Sri Krishna is a yogi for sure. Because every other Gita speaks about Sri Krishna's avatar. Only the book written by my Acharya proves that Sri Krishna is not avatar. Sri Krishna is not Almighty God. Sri Krishna studied Vedas. Because of Vedas knowledge, Sri Krishna could speak these kind of slokas. This is proved only in my Acharya's book. So I will say my Acharya is extremely wonderful, great, because he is able to show to the world who is real Sri Krishna. So let's not compare two yogis and say who is great, who is not great. This is not our, it's like, LKG students speaking about who is great scientists, Albert Einstein or Nikola Tesla. Why we should do that? We are not even LKG students. We are not even tapasvis. We cannot judge other yogis. We must just adopt whatever they adopted in life. Sri Krishna did tapasya, you also do tapasya. Sri Krishna did everyday Agnihotra, you also do everyday Agnihotra. Sri Krishna served the Rishi Munis, you also serve the Rishi Munis. Similarly, my Acharya did tapasya, we should do tapasya. This is what I can say instead of comparing both the rishis. I hope you understood. Thank you so much. Namaste. Om.